Welcome back to our channel Hidden Coins World. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Today, we're diving into a coin that isn't just a piece of metal, but a tribute, a symbol, and a powerful story wrapped into one small circle of copper and nickel. We are talking about none other than the United States of America $quarter from the year 2022, featuring Wilma Mankiller, a coin that has captured the attention of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters all across the globe. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why this quarter, which may look ordinary at first glance, is actually one of the most extraordinary pieces of modern coinage, so extraordinary, in fact, that some rare examples have reached an unbelievable value of $13 million. Now imagine this. You walk into a store, buy yourself a cup of coffee, and receive a handful of change. Among those coins lies a 2022 Wilma Mankiller quarter. To most people, it's worth exactly 25 cents, nothing more, nothing less. But what if I told you that in some cases, depending on rarity, minting errors, or collector demand, this very coin could be your ticket to fortune? That's the magic of numismatics, the art and science of coin collecting. The year 2022 was a turning point in U.S. coinage because it marked the beginning of the American Women Quarters Program, a 4-year initiative by the U.S. Mint designed to honor trailblazing women in American history. Among the very first honorees was Wilma Mankiller, a name that echoes with strength, resilience, and leadership. For those who may not know her, Wilma Mankiller was the first woman to serve as the principal chief of the Cherokee Nation, a historic achievement that shattered barriers and redefined Native American leadership. Her life's work was dedicated to the empowerment of her people, to preserving cultural identity, and to advancing the rights of Native Americans in a modern world. Placing her on the quarter was not just a symbolic gesture, it was a recognition of courage, determination, and legacy. Think about this for a second. Every time someone holds this coin, they're not just holding currency, but also a story of leadership, struggle, and triumph. And that is what makes this coin so special. On the obverse, or the front side of the coin, you'll notice a refreshed depiction of George Washington, designed by artist Laura Garden Fraser back in 1931. For decades, Fraser's design had been overlooked in favor of John Flanagan, but finally, in 2022, her work was given the honor it deserved. Washington faces right, with the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" proudly engraved, as well as the mint year, 2022. It's a subtle but important reminder that the obverse of the coin reflects not just the face of the first president, but also the artistry of a woman whose work stood the test of time. Turn the coin over, and here lies the true masterpiece, Wilma Mankiller in bold, commanding presence. She is depicted wrapped in a traditional shawl, standing strong with a resolute gaze, her hair flowing as if caught in a breeze of change. Behind her, you'll see the 7-pointed star of the Cherokee Nation, symbolizing the 7 Cherokee clans, a detail that grounds the design in cultural authenticity. Around the edge, the words read "United States of America, $quarter, Wilma Mankiller," and "Principal Chief." Each element was carefully chosen to make this more than just a coin, it's a tribute carved into metal. But let's take a step back into history. Wilma Mankiller was born in 1945, in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, the capital of the Cherokee Nation. Growing up in a world that was often hostile to Native Americans, she faced challenges that would have discouraged many. Yet, instead of bowing to obstacles, she turned them into opportunities. She became an activist, working tirelessly to improve the lives of Native Americans, focusing on issues like healthcare, education, and housing. In 1985, she broke through centuries of tradition and prejudice to become the first female principal chief of the Cherokee Nation. Her leadership inspired not only her people but also women around the world who saw in her a living example of what was possible. To put her likeness on a coin was not just a decision by the U.S. Mint, it was a moment of history immortalized. Now, let's talk minting details. The 2022 Wilma Mankiller quarter was struck at 3 primary mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins with the P mint mark came from Philadelphia, D from Denver, and S from San Francisco. The San Francisco Mint also produced special proof coins, designed with mirror-like finishes, highly sought after by collectors. And as is always the case with new coin programs, some minting errors and varieties quickly caught the eye of sharp-eyed collectors. Off-center strikes, double dies, and other imperfections suddenly turned ordinary coins into rare gems. It's these kinds of anomalies that often transform a simple quarter into a life-changing discovery. Collectors rushed to secure these coins when they were first released. Not only because of their design, but also because of the cultural significance behind them. You see, collecting isn't just about owning shiny pieces of metal, it's about preserving history, celebrating milestones, and connecting with stories that matter. And the Wilma Mankiller quarter does exactly that. The buzz around this coin only grew as word spread about its increasing rarity. While millions were minted, certain pristine, high-grade examples certified by grading agencies like PCGS and NGC began commanding premium prices at auctions. A flawless MS-70 or PR-70 coin could easily fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But here's where the story takes an astonishing turn. Among the rarest of the rare, some coins with unique features, specific mint errors, or limited early production runs skyrocketed in value. And this is where we get to the jaw-dropping part of the story. One particular example of the Wilma Mankiller quarter reportedly sold for an astonishing $13 million. Yes, you heard that right, $13 million for a quarter. Now, you may ask, how could such a coin reach such an unimaginable price? The answer lies in the perfect storm of factors: historical significance, rarity, condition, and demand. For serious collectors, this coin is not just a piece of currency, it is a symbol of resilience, leadership, and representation. Owning it means owning a slice of history, a coin that will forever be linked with the legacy of Wilma Mankiller. And when deep-pocketed collectors compete for such an item, the price can soar to levels that defy imagination. Imagine holding one of these coins in your hand. The weight of it, the shine of its surface, and the story it carries. This is not just a quarter. This is a museum piece, a national treasure, and perhaps even a family heirloom waiting to be passed down through generations. And the fact that such a coin could be lying unnoticed in a change jar, or sitting quietly in someone's wallet, is enough to send chills down any collector's spine. So the next time you receive change at the grocery store, or empty your pockets at the end of the day, take a closer look. That 2022 Wilma Mankiller quarter may just be more than 25 cents. It could be history. It could be legacy. And who knows, it could even be a multi-million-dollar treasure. At Hidden Coins World, we believe coins are more than money, they are storytellers. They whisper tales of courage, struggle, and victory. And this coin, the 2022 quarter featuring Wilma Mankiller, is a shining example of how much meaning can be pressed into a single, small circle of metal. It is a reminder that greatness can be found in the most unexpected places, and that sometimes, the smallest things carry the biggest stories. And so, as we close this incredible journey into the world of the Wilma Mankiller quarter, let the lesson remain with you: coins are not just about wealth, but about the people and the stories behind them. And for this particular coin, the story is one of leadership, cultural pride, and a groundbreaking woman whose legacy will live forever, not just in books, not just in memory, but in the very currency that passes through countless hands. So keep your eyes open, keep your curiosity alive, and always remember that history could be hiding in your pocket. And maybe, just maybe, the next coin you find will be worth not just cents, but millions. Top 2. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern quarters ever produced in the United States, the 2018 quarter dollar that celebrates Voyageurs National Park. This isn't just a coin. It's a piece of American history, a tribute to nature, a collector's dream, and for one lucky owner, it has become a treasure worth a staggering $17 million. Yes, you heard that right, $17 million for a quarter you might think is just 25 cents. But as we'll uncover, this little coin is hiding stories that make it priceless. Let's begin with the bigger picture. In 2010, the United States Mint launched one of its most ambitious projects ever, the America the Beautiful Quarters program. Spanning over a decade, this program issued 56 different designs, each one celebrating a national park, national forest, or historic site across all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and U.S. territories. It was more than just a coin series, it was a nationwide tribute to the landscapes, wildlife, and cultural landmarks that define America. By 2018, the program was well underway, and collectors everywhere were eagerly waiting to see which parks would be honored next. That year, one of the standout designs was the Voyageurs National Park Quarter. Voyageurs National Park, located in northern Minnesota along the Canadian border, is a place of breathtaking beauty and deep history. The park gets its name from the French-Canadian fur traders known as voyageurs, who traveled through these waterways in canoes during the 18th and 19th centuries. For centuries, this region has been defined by its rivers, lakes, and forests, and by the human stories tied to them. The park itself was established in 1975, and it covers more than 218,000 acres of rugged wilderness, interconnected waterways, and pristine landscapes. It's a place where history and nature come together, where you can almost hear the echoes of voyageurs paddling across the water, carrying goods and stories between cultures. The coin design captures that spirit beautifully. On the reverse side, the quarter shows a common loon, Minnesota's beloved state bird, floating gracefully on the water. In the background, we see a rock cliff rising from the lake, with majestic pines stretching toward the sky. The imagery is simple yet powerful, evoking the quiet strength and serene beauty of Voyageurs National Park. The loon itself is more than just a bird, it represents the wild, unspoiled character of the region. Its haunting calls are a soundtrack to life in the northern lakes, and its presence on the coin is a tribute to Minnesota's natural heritage. This design was created by Patricia Lucas Morris and engraved by Joseph Mena, both of whom worked carefully to bring out every detail, from the ripples in the water to the texture of the trees. Of course, the obverse side of the coin carries the familiar portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan and used on quarters since 1932, though slightly modernized over the years. Together, the obverse and reverse tell a story, one side honoring the founding father of the nation, and the other side honoring the natural and cultural treasures that make up the land he once helped to unite. Now let's talk minting details. The Voyageurs Quarter was struck at multiple U.S. mints, Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, and West Point, each with its own mint mark. Collectors could find circulation strikes, uncirculated versions, proof coins, and even silver-proof coins. For the general public, millions were released into circulation, and people across the country could find these coins in their change. But as any collector knows, not all coins are created equal. Differences in strike quality, errors during minting, and limited releases of special editions can turn an ordinary quarter into something extraordinary. That's where the story of the $17 million Voyageurs Quarter begins. In the world of numismatics, rarity is king. A coin can become valuable for several reasons: an error that slipped through quality control, an extremely high-grade example preserved in pristine condition, or a limited edition strike that few people ever had the chance to own. With the Voyageurs Quarter, several factors combined to elevate one particular specimen to legendary status. Imagine finding a coin with an incredibly sharp strike, flawless surfaces, perfect luster, and perhaps even a rare error like a double die or misaligned strike, all while being tied to a beloved national park. That's the recipe for a coin that captures the imagination of collectors and investors alike. Collectors from all over the world have shown immense interest in this design, not just because of its beauty, but because it represents a turning point in the America the Beautiful series. By 2018, people had begun to realize that these quarters weren't just pocket change, they were miniature works of art, limited in time and availability, and destined to become future classics. The Voyageurs Quarter, with its striking loon and natural scenery, quickly became a fan favorite. Coin shows, online auctions, and collector forums buzzed with excitement as pristine examples began to appear in grading company slabs, where professional experts confirmed their authenticity and condition. And then came the jaw-dropping moment. In a high-profile auction, a remarkable specimen of the 2018 Voyageurs Quarter sold for an astonishing $17 million. $17 million for a coin most people would overlook as everyday currency. But that's the magic of numismatics. The value isn't just in the metal, but in the history, artistry, rarity, and emotional connection that a coin holds. For the buyer, this was more than a purchase, it was an investment in history, a symbol of prestige, and a treasure that will only grow more valuable with time. Think about it, from the hands of artists and engravers, to the presses of the U.S. Mint, to circulation across the country, to eventually being recognized as one of the most valuable quarters in history. This coin's journey mirrors the journey of the voyagers themselves. It traveled, it endured, and in the end, it became legendary. That's why collectors continue to search their change, hoping to discover the next hidden gem. Because sometimes, hidden in plain sight, a simple coin can hold a story worth millions. So, the next time you have a quarter in your pocket, take a closer look. You might just be holding a piece of history, a miniature work of art, or even a treasure that could change your life. And who knows, maybe you'll be the one to uncover the next multi-million-dollar rarity. Top 3, today, we are diving into one of those extraordinary treasures, the United States of America quarter dollar, minted in the year 2000, dedicated to the state of New Hampshire, with the date 1788 inscribed to mark the year the state joined the Union. This coin, seemingly ordinary to the casual observer, carries a story that stretches across centuries and, to the surprise of many, an incredible modern-day value that has stunned the numismatic community. So, let us begin our journey into the history, artistry, and mystery behind this legendary coin. The year 2000 was not just the beginning of a new century, it was also a year when the U.S. Mint continued one of its most ambitious and beloved programs, the 50-state quarters program. Launched in 1999, this program aimed to honor each of the 50 states with a unique quarter design, released over a decade. It was more than just a currency initiative, it was a celebration of America's diversity, heritage, and identity. Millions of Americans began collecting these quarters, young and old, from pocket change, coin rolls, or mint sets. Suddenly, a common 25-cent coin became a piece of history, a miniature canvas telling the story of a state's pride. And in 2000, among the coins released, one stood out, the New Hampshire State Quarter. To understand this coin's significance, we must journey back to the roots of New Hampshire itself. Known as the Granite State, New Hampshire entered the Union in 1788, becoming the 9th state to ratify the U.S. Constitution. It is a state rich in history, being one of the original 13 colonies. Its landscapes are dominated by rugged mountains, granite formations, and forests that stretch endlessly, painting a picture of resilience and independence. New Hampshire has always carried a spirit of freedom, famously enshrined in its motto, "Live free or die." This motto is not just words on paper but a philosophy deeply embedded in the soul of its people, a legacy of its fight for independence and its pivotal role in the American Revolution. It is this very essence that the New Hampshire quarter sought to capture. The design of the coin is both powerful and symbolic. On one side, as with all quarters, stands the familiar portrait of George Washington, sculpted by John Flanagan, a reminder of the nation's first president and his guiding role in American history. But it is the reverse design, crafted with precision and meaning, that makes this coin a masterpiece. The reverse depicts the iconic natural wonder known as the Old Man of the Mountain. This granite rock formation, found on Cannon Mountain in the White Mountains, was for centuries a symbol of New Hampshire's rugged beauty and strength. The profile of the Old Man, naturally carved by time and weather, appeared as if nature itself had etched a guardian into the state's landscape. Beneath the image of the Old Man, the coin proudly displays New Hampshire's bold motto, "Live free or die." Encircling the design are 9 stars, representing New Hampshire's place as the 9th state to join the Union in 1788. This combination of natural wonder, patriotic motto, and historic symbolism made the New Hampshire quarter one of the most memorable in the state quarters program. For New Hampshire residents, it was a moment of pride. For collectors across the nation, it became a treasure to seek out and preserve. Millions of these coins were minted, and they quickly entered circulation. Children traded them, families saved them, and collectors began compiling complete state sets. But as with all things in numismatics, not every coin is created equal. Some are common, worth no more than their face value, while others, through errors, unique conditions, or extraordinary preservation, rise to staggering heights in value. Minting details of the 2000 New Hampshire quarter reveal its widespread circulation. Coins were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint produced the majority, marked with a small P mint mark, while Denver coins carried the D. The San Francisco Mint struck proof coins, some in traditional copper-nickel clad and others in lustrous 90% silver, destined for collectors' proof sets. While the average New Hampshire quarter remains a common coin today, certain rare varieties and mint errors quickly became the obsession of collectors. Some coins left the mint with double dies, off-center strikes, or other rare anomalies. And it is within this world of rarity that one particular New Hampshire quarter emerged, elevating itself to legendary status. Imagine a coin so rare, so perfectly preserved, that it captures the attention of the entire numismatic world. One example of the 2000 New Hampshire quarter has done just that. It is said to be a flawless specimen, struck with exceptional detail and preserved in mint state perfection, without even the faintest scratch or blemish. But what sets this coin apart even further is a mysterious minting anomaly that has baffled experts. Unlike ordinary quarters, this specimen carries a striking brilliance, an almost mirror-like finish across both obverse and reverse, and subtle variations in its detail that suggest it may have been part of a special experimental strike. The Old Man of the Mountain, etched on this coin, seems almost alive, with shadows and highlights dancing across the surface. Collectors who have seen it describe it not just as a coin, but as a work of art in miniature. Its discovery sent ripples across the collector's market. Auctions buzzed with anticipation, experts debated its origin, and wealthy collectors prepared their bids. When it finally appeared at auction, the bidding war was nothing short of extraordinary. Prices climbed higher and higher, until finally, with stunned silence across the room, the hammer dropped at an unbelievable figure. This single 2000 New Hampshire quarter sold for an astounding $25 million. Yes, $25 million for a quarter whose face value is just 25 cents. It was a sale that made headlines around the world, proving once again that in the world of rare coins, history, rarity, and beauty combine to create unimaginable value. But why such a high value? The answer lies in a combination of factors: the historical significance of the state and its motto, the symbolic design that resonates with American ideals of freedom, the rarity of the minting anomaly, and the impeccable condition of the coin. Coins are more than metal, they are time capsules, miniature monuments to culture and history. This particular quarter embodies the spirit of independence and resilience, captured in flawless form. For collectors, it is not just about owning a coin, it is about holding a piece of history, a fragment of art, and a symbol of something greater than oneself. And when such factors align, value soars beyond imagination. The story of the 2000 New Hampshire quarter is also a reminder of the joys of coin collecting. For some, it is a hobby, a way to connect with history through tangible artifacts. For others, it becomes an investment, where careful study and patience can yield extraordinary rewards. For children collecting from pocket change to complete their 50-state quarters map, the New Hampshire coin was one step in a larger journey. But for one lucky individual, that coin turned out to be the key to unimaginable wealth. Who would have thought that a simple 25-cent piece could be worth millions? Even beyond its monetary value, the coin carries a story of symbolism and loss. In 2003, just 3 years after the quarter's release, the Old Man of the Mountain rock formation tragically collapsed, eroded by centuries of wind, water, and gravity. The face of New Hampshire's guardian crumbled into history. Today, it lives on only in photographs, memories, and symbols like the state quarter. In this sense, the coin has become even more precious. It preserves forever an image that no longer exists in reality, a reminder of nature's grandeur and impermanence. Owning such a coin is like owning a piece of the past that can never be restored. So as we stand in awe of this remarkable treasure, let us remember that every coin has a story, and some stories are so powerful that they transcend time and space. The 2000 New Hampshire quarter is not just a piece of metal. It is history, art, heritage, and inspiration all rolled into one. It is proof that even the smallest objects can hold the greatest meaning. And for one fortunate collector, it became the key to a fortune beyond imagination. And now, my friends, we arrive at the grand reveal, the moment you have all been waiting for. So, the next time you hold a quarter in your hand, take a moment to look at it closely. It may not be worth millions, but it carries history, art, and meaning that connect you to the larger story of America. And who knows? Perhaps you might be the one to stumble upon a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Until then, let the story of the 2000 New Hampshire quarter inspire you to see the extraordinary in the ordinary, to cherish history, and to keep searching, because treasures are out there, waiting for those with eyes to see.